Hello, my name is Kendra Solini, and I am the coordinator of financial aid and veteran services here at Kankakee Community College. Today I'm going to be talking to you about paying for college. It's an introduction to financial aid and learning more about the cost of college. So you're probably thinking, okay, I'm going to college. What do I need to know? How much does it cost? Where can I get help? What's this FAFSA I keep hearing about? What's financial aid? When and how do I apply? And what types of different aid are there? We're going to help you with that.
How much would it cost?
So one of the first things you'll want to consider when you make the choice to go to college is what's it going to cost and can you afford it? So when you decide you're going to college, you want to think about the cost and what it all entails. The cost of going to college includes your tuition and fees and your books easily. But there's many other costs that can be incurred when you go to college, such as room and board. Are you going to be paying rent, living in a dorm, or are you going to be living with your parents? You might also want to consider transportation. Are you going to be walking to class? Are you going to be driving to class? Are you going to be taking a train or a bus? There's costs to everything in regards to transportation as well. You might need a really good pair of shoes. Another cost that you'll want to consider is personal and miscellaneous costs. So you might easily decide my books and my tuition, I can pay for that, no problem, or I have a way of paying for that with financial aid maybe, which we'll talk about in a moment, but maybe something comes up. So you want to think about, I might want to have emergency fund in my back pocket just in case something happens. It's always good to be prepared.
What is financial aid?
Financial aid is a very broad term for finding the funding you need to help pay for these costs. So first of all, we like to recommend that you look into applying for financial aid early. As soon as you decide you're going to college, start planning how you're going to pay for it. So financial aid is a really great way to start that process. You can start with looking for funding sources. The first funding source might be the federal government, another might be the state government, another the college or university that you're looking to attend, and other private or nonprofit type resources or business employers, things like that.
What is the FAFSA?
So when we talk about looking for sources of funding, let's start with the federal funding. So applying for FAFSA. FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Their website is www.fafsa.gov. This is an application that is completed annually. Every October 1st, the application for financial aid for the following year becomes available. So for example, if you're currently in the 2021 school year, the 2021 FAFSA has been available since fall of 2019. The FAFSA for the 21-22 school year becomes available on October 1st of 2020. So just so you're aware when you're thinking about which school year when you want to start school to do the appropriate FAFSA application that coincides with that school year. The FAFSA is also the application that you'll want to start with when applying for federal grants, various state grants, student loans, and more.
When and how do I apply?
So if you're looking to start school and apply for the 21-22 FAFSA, you'll want to prepare to do your FAFSA as soon as possible. October 1st, the 21-22 FAFSA becomes available. So you'll want to have a couple things handy before you begin. First of all, you're going to want the 2019 income information for your household. That might be tax returns, W-2s, asset information, investment information. And you'll also want to know that on the FAFSA, you have the option to use the IRS data retrieval tool. This is a really helpful tool because what it does is it links your taxes from the IRS directly and it answers the questions for you. So it's a wonderful tool to use. The other thing you're going to want to have handy before you start your FAFSA is your FSA ID. This is a username and password with the federal student aid system. So if you need to do that, you'll want to go to their website and get that set up first. Their website is fsaid.ed.gov.
Am I a dependent or independent student?
So when you do the FAFSA, you're going to be asked various questions about your dependency. So were you born before January 1st of 1998? If so, you're going to be considered an independent student. If you were born after January 1st of 1998, you will be considered a dependent student, unless there's other criteria that would automatically make you independent. There's various questions on the FAFSA that are in regard to your dependency status. So this could include that you're an active duty military, or you might be a veteran. Those two criteria would automatically make you an independent student. If you're a parent and you have a child who you're supporting more than 50% of their well-being, you will also be considered an independent student. Also, if you're married, you'll be considered an independent student. Or if you're a homeless student or at risk of being homeless, you will also be considered an independent student automatically. And finally, if you're an orphan or a ward of the court, you will automatically be considered an independent student. So that all being said now, if you are considered a dependent student because you couldn't answer yes to those following questions, then they're going to ask you for parent information. The parents can include your biological parent, your step parent, or an adoptive parent. That parent also needs to have an FSA ID, which is, again, the Federal Student Aid username and password. They're going to be asked various questions such as social security number. They might be asked about certain educational outcomes for themselves, things like that. So they will be asked various questions about themselves. They'll also be asked questions about their income. They will also want to have their 2019 tax return information, W-2s, etc., handy before doing a FAFSA.
Which parent do I use if my parents are divorced?
Other questions they're going to ask the parents are about their marital status. So are they married, divorced, separated, widowed, etc. And finally, they're also going to ask, which parent do you live with the most if they're not married? So if your parents are separated or divorced, you usually want to just go ahead and put the student information based on the parent you live with the most. So after you fill out your FAFSA, what happens? So first of all, we're going to talk about where your information goes after you submit your FAFSA. We're going to talk about what your EFC is, or your expected family contribution. We're going to talk about what financial aid programs you might hear about after applying. And we're going to ask you how to apply for scholarships as well.
What happens to my information?
So after you submit your FAFSA, your school that you sent your FAFSA to will communicate with you. So you will want to be making sure that you're checking your email and your mail, because once they receive that FAFSA, there might be some follow-up information that they need from you. Please be aware that there might be information being requested of you, and you will want to be responsive in a timely manner.
What is the EFC?
So what is the EFC, or expected family contribution? This is a calculated number from the FAFSA that the federal methodology explains what you might be able to afford to pay for college. Not necessarily what you will pay out of pocket, but it's an understanding of your household financial strength. The EFC is also considered when the financial aid office is going to calculate your financial aid package. So when they receive your financial aid application via the FAFSA, they're going to look at your EFC and calculating what your need might be for financial aid. This EFC does not change based on the college you choose. So we're going to look at an example of how you can understand how this is calculated. Here's an example of a financial needs scenario. So when you're looking at various colleges, we'll use an example of college A, B, and C. College A is similar to the cost of attendance for a community college, similar to Kankakee Community College. If your EFC is $3,000 from your FAFSA, and you subtract that from the cost of attendance, you might have a remaining need closer to $7,000. That $7,000 is your remaining need that the financial aid office will try to fill with grants, help you out with scholarships, and maybe even a chance for a student loan or something like that. College B then is more similar to a state school, such as Illinois State or University of Illinois. Your EFC doesn't change based on the college, so your EFC would remain at $3,000, thus leaving you with a remaining need of $17,000. Again, their financial aid office will try to fill that need with grants, scholarships, loans, etc. And then finally, College C, which is closer to $40,000, is more comparable to a private school. Your EFC again doesn't change, so when we subtract the $3,000 EFC from the $40,000 cost of attendance, that leaves you with $37,000 in remaining need. Again, their financial aid office will try to meet that need with grants, scholarships, loans, etc. Please be aware of how your need is being met. If it's grants, scholarships, or loans, you'll want to understand how each of those works and if there's an expectation behind those awards. We're going to talk about those here in just a moment. Next, I want to make sure that you're aware that there is an alternative application for financial aid. Not everybody might be eligible to apply for the FAFSA. Through the state of Illinois, through ISAC, Illinois Student Assistance Commission, there is now the alternative application for financial aid. And this is specifically for Illinois residents who might not be eligible for the FAFSA. The FAFSA requires you to be a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-citizen. This could be for a non-citizen student who has not obtained lawful permanent residence yet. You will want to apply for this application at isac.org.
What financial programs are available?
Here is a slide that gives you an example of types of financial aid. First and foremost, grants are gift aid. So they're given to you in essence that it's a gift. Use it to pay for your expenses. Similar to that are scholarships. Again, gift aid, to where it's given to you to pay for your expenses. More than likely, you're going to have some criteria that you have to follow in order to obtain those funds, such as maintaining a good GPA or maintaining an eligible program plan, such as a major. Other types of aid include work study. So work study is being a part-time student employee at the college and making a paycheck to pay for your college expenses. Another type of self-help aid are student loans. We're going to talk about each one of these types of aid now in just a moment. First of all, the grants. The grants are what you want to try to apply for first, and you do so by applying for the FAFSA or the alternative application for financial aid through ISAC. These applications will automatically apply you for the Pell Grant, SEOG Grant, and MAP Grant. There are various other grants out there as well, so please, if you want to do some research behind different grants that are available to you, this is a short list in regards to how many are really out there. Next, you'll definitely want to apply for scholarships. Scholarships and grants work very well together because, again, they're gift aid. You don't have to pay them back.
Where can I find scholarships?
Scholarships can be found in various different resources, such as through the college or university you're applying for. They might have many scholarships that you aren't even aware exist, so it's definitely worth looking into and applying. Other organizations, such as local banks or nonprofit organizations, might have a scholarship. You can even check in with your church, or maybe you're a part of an organization that you know has a scholarship. Definitely ask some questions because you might be aware all of a sudden you have funding from your employer or something that you're involved in the community. Additionally, there's many scholarships on the web, and we want you to be very aware that scholarships, they are wonderful, but there are scams out there as well. So if you're ever asked to pay to apply for a scholarship, don't do it. That's a scam. We would rather you apply for scholarships that are legitimate, so please reach out to your financial aid office at the college that you're going to or the scholarship office where you're going to college so that you can get some assistance. We're always happy to help. At Kankakee Community College, we have a foundation which houses our scholarships, and they have a scholarship drive that opens on November 1st and ends on March 1st. Generally, they announce scholarship awardees in April and May. So please make sure you go to their website if you're thinking of attending KCC and apply for their scholarships. There's hundreds of scholarships provided through KCC.
What financial aid programs are available?
Federal Work Study is an opportunity for you to get a part-time student employment position at the college that you're attending. This is a part-time job while you go to school. Many times you can get eligibility for this just by applying for FAFSA. You want to make sure that you reach out to your college or university that you're attending for any open positions. Usually their open positions for student workers are posted on their website. Next, we're going to talk about student loans. Now, student loans have to be paid back, so you definitely want to think about this as a last resort when funding your college expenses. A good thing about student loans are that they help you build credit. That's a wonderful way to start building credit for your future. However, since they have to be paid back, you want to make sure that you can pay them back. So that means having a job and being able to have income to pay that bill. The wonderful thing about student loans is that they don't require you to pay them back as long as you're enrolled half-time at a college or university. Once you're no longer enrolled half-time, they will ask you to start repaying them. So please keep that in mind. Finally, with federal student loans, you want to be aware that when you apply for those, there's interest. For subsidized student loans, the interest is 2.75 for the current year. However, you don't want to be afraid of this loan because it doesn't accrue interest while you're enrolled in school. So that's a wonderful loan if you're going to take one to get. The other type of federal student loan is the unsubsidized student loan. That one does, however, accrue interest at 2.75%. So be aware when you get awarded a student loan which type of loan it is. And finally, there is a loan for parents. So if your parents want to apply for a loan in their name to help fund your college, they can do that through a Parent Plus loan. That one, however, has a little bit higher of an interest rate. So with student loans and parent loans, just be aware of what's expected of you when you take those loans out, the interest that's accruing or not accruing, and the repayment options that you have.
Where can I get help?
So where can you get help? At Kankakee Community College, we can help you, no problem. We offer workshops that you can come out on campus to attend and get hands-on assistance applying for financial aid, and we can also help you virtually. So please check out our website. We have workshops listed online, and you can register for those and attend one of those for assistance. You can also go to the Department of Education's website or studentaid.gov to get so much information online. They have a lot of information in regards to how to apply and what's expected in regards to different resources such as grants, loans, etc. You can also check out isac.org, ISAC.org, for more information about Illinois funds, such as the MAP grant or a teacher's grant. So definitely do your research, it's worth it. So let's review. When applying for colleges, you also want to make sure you're applying for your financial aid. How are you going to pay to go to that college? So starting with the FAFSA or the alternative application for financial aid will be your first step. Also, after you've applied, be sure that you follow up with the college that you're attending because they might need something from you. They might need a copy of your tax returns, your official high school or GED transcripts, etc. So please be sure to be aware that they're trying to reach out to you and communicate. And if you don't hear something, you have questions, please reach out to them. Also, you might have some pending processes, such as registering for classes or declaring a major. So it's important to know what's expected of you as a student as well. And then finally, be aware that financial aid has to be applied for every year that you're going to college. So you'll want to remind yourself that October 1st, that FAFSA opens for the next school year. If you're interested in getting any help with your FAFSA, again, KCC has the workshops here during the fall. So please check out our website to get that help. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the Office of Financial Aid at Kankakee Community College. No matter what college you decide to go to, we're still here to help you to figure out how to apply for financial aid and answer any questions that you have about paying for college. Please call us or email us or visit our website. We're here to help you.